what better franchise to talk about when you're currently actually being quarantined because you have a virus than Resident Evil? Let's talk about Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse. Or it's not called 2, it's Apocalypse. I wish it was called 2. That would have made it easier on me when going through my Resident Evil collection. I'm not familiar with this franchise at all, so I had to spend a couple minutes looking at the back of each disc because for some reason they were out of order. So I'm like, which one's part 2? They don't tell you. So I had to look at the back and like see what year they came out. Like, okay, well, this one came out 2 years later. This one came out 4 years. So this is part 2. So yeah, this is a first time watch, and like I said, my other video, I'm not familiar with the video game, so I'm not going to be like comparing the movie to the video game at all. So yeah, this franchise, it seems like I haven't seen the other ones, but I'm guessing that they're all going to be like this one. It's just fast paced, just it's all about the action sequences. Fuck the characters, like it's just boom, boom, boom. Like just get to the next set piece. It's just crazy, just action nonstop. This movie doesn't really pause many times for like character moments. It's just like keep going. This is a very quick paced movie, and the plot's very simple. You got some soldiers trying to rescue this daughter of a important scientist, and you got an evil corporation that's responsible for the virus outbreak, blah blah blah, and they're gonna nuke the city to bury their mess and move on from it, but they gotta leave the city before that happens and rescue the daughter. It's a simple action movie plot, really, with zombies and stuff. So, my positives for this movie is, like I just said, it's very quick. Doesn't waste much time at all. It just gets going. It's just nonstop. I thought this one, comparing it to the first one, I think this one has more of a darker, more horror atmosphere to it, like the cemetery set, like better, scarier set pieces, like at the cemetery, the church. It's very darkly lit in a lot of scenes. It's all nighttime and it's more open in the city as opposed to just being stuck in a fancy, slick, brightly lit laboratory like the first one. This one's more dark and it's just going all over the city, so it's more open, bigger budget feeling than the first one. And the Nemesis zombie looks pretty cool, pretty badass. I'm sure that's a zombie from the video game. I did play the remaster version of Part 2, and I think, or was that 3? I think it was 3. Yeah, I played number 3, and that looked familiar, so I'm guessing it's from that video game. So yeah, looks pretty close to the source material. But then again, I said I'm not an expert on the subject, but from my memory, that looked like the Nemesis zombie from the game, and it looks pretty badass in this movie. It's like a Terminator zombie because he's got like the Terminator vision and he's got a minigun. It's pretty badass, and we got naked zombies in this movie too, so that helps. And the return of zombie dogs. You got zombie kids. It's pretty awesome. And instead of one sexy badass lead in this movie, we got two sexy badasses fighting side by side. So, and I like the comic relief character LJ. He has the golden desert eagle. He's like the cab driver, I think he says, right? He has a few one-liners in the movie that actually made me chuckle. And yeah, as for anything I didn't like, the editing of the movie, like there's a lot of choppy slow mo in a lot of sequences, and then when there's like fight sequences and action scenes, it's frantic cuts. Like no shot lasts more than like a second. Just cut, cut, cut. It's like the Bourne movies. I'm not a fan of this like action editing style. I like the John Wick action movies where the camera's further back and they have a lot more choreography and you can see everything happening. This one's more like up close, just cutting all over the fucking place. I'm like, I can't keep up with it. And this one has like no gore. Every time someone gets attacked by a zombie, it cuts away. There's like nothing. Like zombie movies should always be gory. It should always be like the Romero movies, the Savini effects. Like you're not getting that shit in this movie at all. There's just nothing in it. You got CGI, whatever those monsters are called, the ones that are like hopping around the ceiling. It's scary, but I get taken out of it when I see them up close and they're all CGI looking. It just looks bad. But there's not a whole lot of it. I thought it was a little unbelievable that it just took so long for Umbrella, this big rich corporation. It took so long for them to find out that this guy was like hacking their computers, and he's like hacking it like all night, and then finally, like an hour into the movie, they're like, "We know what you're doing. Like, stop doing that." Like, he's been hacking your shit for hours, and you're just now catching on to it. Like, I feel like they would know immediately that somebody is hacking into their their computers and shit. So that was just a little nitpick of mine, like a plot convenience to me. And so, and once again, like I didn't care for most of the characters. I like LJ, but all the other characters, there's not much to them. Like they're quickly introduced and they're just immediately like shooting and kicking ass, and then some of them get taken out very quickly. This movie isn't really about the characters. It's just about the action and the action sequences, the fights, and you know being like the Matrix in some moments where the bullets are going by in slow motion, like past them and shit. Like, seems like it's the Matrix, and so yeah, it's a little better than the first one to me. I just had more fun with this one. So final thoughts: if you like the first one, I think you might enjoy this one more. It's got a little bit of a different style to it than the first one because it's a different director. It's more dark, and I liked it more. The aesthetic, I liked it more, and it's just fast paced fun. So when it comes to Resident Evil Apocalypse, consider maybe streaming this one, borrowing it from a friend, or renting it at Redbox. I guess we'll do a quick spoiler discussion. I really don't have many interesting things to talk about. Not much. There's not much to spoil. Like there was the Nemesis twist that I thought was pretty damn obvious. Like she finds out that Matt or whoever he is in the first one, when he's like mutating later on, it's like, oh, the Nemesis, that's Matt. It's like I figured. I mean, I thought that was pretty obvious. And there's just little moments that I thought were unbelievable. Like she's defying laws of physics. I guess she's like a superhuman now in this movie. They did something to her. Like she's like jumping super high and she's outrunning minigun bullets. And then she gets in like a garbage, like a plastic like garbage bin that you push around, and like a bazooka goes off right next to it, and it doesn't like blast her away with it. Like that's a pretty impenetrable like that's a powerful fucking garbage bin. It's like the refrigerator in Indiana Jones 4 that survives a nuclear blast is like, get the fuck out of here. What? And then she somehow like gets on a motorcycle and she like sends it going very like Die Hard 4, Live Free or Die Hard. Like the motorcycle just goes up somehow. Like I don't know how she made the motorcycle do that with the monster, and then she like shoots it. And then the virus, I thought it was airborne, but I guess it's just the bites now. I guess it's not in the air anymore. It's just in the zombies because they're all breathing in the air. There's people with masks earlier, but now everyone in the city, they're not turning into zombies. I don't know. Like I thought it was airborne. Is it not? But they're all fine. They're breathing in the air, and you only get turned now when you're getting bit. But it's like the virus. It went in the ground, and now people are coming out of the ground. Like zombies are coming out of the ground, like traditional zombie movies. But I thought it was airborne. Now it's like going through the dirt and getting these dead people, long dead, they're coming back to life. And I thought you had to destroy the brain, but I guess snapping the neck, where they make snapping necks so easy in movies. It just looks so easy to snap necks in movies. But yeah, I didn't think that this virus would bring them out of the ground. I thought that was, I like it though. I like that scene. And that whole, they should have been like, I kick gas for the Lord, because they're like in the church cemetery in the backyard, like smashing their heads up against the tombstones. I was just thinking of Dead Alive in that moment. It would have been funny if somebody said that. But yeah, so then yada yada yada, they're gonna blow up the city. That one girl, she jumps off the roof pretty quickly. Like I don't know, like she just seemed like it was no big deal. She's just like, it's too late, whatever, and she just jumps off the roof and kills herself. It's like, I don't know if I could do that. Even if I knew I was about to turn into a zombie, I wouldn't be able to just jump off a fucking roof like that. She just does it easy peasy. And so then, the nuke goes off, and then Alice survives, or they patch her up and they reprogram her, and then she breaks through their programming for a little bit to fight back, and then at the end, it's hinted at that they have control of her now. Like, is she gonna fight back against her own team? Is she gonna, turn on them? She's losing control of her body. she like stares at the surveillance camera and then somehow makes the guy's eyes and nose bleed. I'm not sure how she pulled that off. That was the scene I remembered. That was the only thing in this movie that was familiar to me. And I thought, this might sound mean, but I just thought it was funny to point out. Like, so the actress who's playing Alice, she doesn't have the biggest breast, but when you look at her computer graphic, they have like this computer like I don't know what to call it. It's like a graphic of her body. Her boobs are huge in that thing on the computer screen, but then when they cut back to her, it's like she doesn't have big boobs like that. So I just thought that was funny. But whatever. So, anyways, that's really the end of the movie. Nothing else to talk about. So, what are your thoughts on Resident Evil Apocalypse? Do you prefer this one over the original? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you've seen here, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking on my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And remember, it's just an opinion. You don't need to get butthurt about it.